Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be doing a simple um, problem in Python. So we're going to be showing a bar graph using one of the packages in Python. It's called Matplotlib. And basically, I have just a Jupyter Notebook open here. So basically, the problem that we're trying to solve is basically we have a name. We can use any name. So um, any first name, any last name. So we're going to get the unique characters, so like the count of how many characters are repeated. So like, um, what would be a good example? Like Bob. Bob has a total of 2 unique characters, right? So O and B. So B appears twice, and then O appears once. So then the bar graph would have, like, on the x-axis, it would have basically an O and a B, right? So the O would have a 1 as the height, and B would have 2 as the height. So basically, that's what we're trying to solve here. And so we'll just get going here. So first of all, we have to always start with our import statement. So in this case, we're going to be using Matplotlib. And if we look here, so we just do basically import Matplotlib. And then we need the plotting capability of Matplotlib as well. So we do import Matplotlib .pyplot as plt, right? And we'll see. So those are that, and then to make sure that this runs, right, you can just hit run. I mean, this is valid, right? So if this changes from asterisk to 1, it's good. No, it's good. Okay, now let's get started, right? So we can have can start with a name, right? You could set up a name. So like we'll set it to my name first, just to start off, and then we'll have a couple other test cases after, like, we completely write the function, right? So first, like, what we need to solve here is basically we need 2 things. So we need the array of the x-axis values, and then also for the y, so the occurrences basically, which would be your y-axis. So basically, we'll set up in a list, right? So we'll set up 2 lists. So one will be our letters, right? Letters of the name, basically. So we'll just initialize it. So initializing would just be empty, right? So empty list, right? And then we also need a count, right? Count. Well, this is also going to be empty. And then, yeah, so we need to traverse through the name, right? So in order to do this, we set up a for loop. So for I, and you can use any variable, really, it doesn't really matter, in range, and then length, right? So we're going to call the length of the name. And then you can, and strings are basically, you can access kind of like an array. So you can think of a string as an array. And you can access a particular index. So get the letter of the name at an index, basically. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna call length, get the length, similar to like array, right? Length of name. Right? If we think about it, we can grab the first character or go through all the characters. So we can just call it character equals name at the index is going to be I. And then basically we're going to be filling up a list, right? One list is going to be the letters, one list is the count. But in this case, like for my name, I know that I have 2 A's, right? 2 A's that appear. So the length of letters is going to be 1 less than the total length of my name, which is 8 letters, because 8 appears twice. So we need to think of this way. So when we populate the letters list, we need to make sure that it's not already populated. You don't want to populate it with the same, you have to check if that letter is already there. And if it's already there, then you can increment the count. You've seen it more than once. So like you've seen it again. So like increment your count, right? So first check we're gonna do is, so if the character not in, so those are the keywords. If not in letters, right? If it's not in the letters list, we'll append, right? If it hasn't seen it, we haven't seen this letter, so append it, right? And letters dot append. Okay. And then, okay, we saw this character, we added it into the letters list, and then we're gonna add a one. So we've seen it, this is the first time we've seen it, right? So we're gonna do count dot append, just the number one, right? So this is the case that we haven't seen a letter. Now we have to think about the other case, right? So if we have seen it, then you don't want to append that same character. All you want to do is just grab that current index of count and increment by one. That you've seen this character before in our list, and you just want to add another occurrence. You've seen another occurrence, right? So basically, we're just going to do this in else, right? An else statement. And then we'll grab index. So the index is going to be where in the list, does it exist? So we're pointing at the right location. So A is obviously, A is going to be the first index, so index 0. And you have to make sure that you're populating on the right index. So we'll grab the index of character, right? And then occurrence, right? Occurrence equals count, and then that same index, right? The count and letters are matched up, right? So A is ultimately going to appear twice, R is going to appear once, I is going to appear once, and so on, right? I grab that index and then occurrence, and then you can just add one here. You can add the one here, and this shows that we've seen the letter again. We're seeing it again, and then you can call count at index. And one thing about lists is that, actually, not the, we need the square brackets here. Count index equals occurrence. So we've incremented, right? So that's basically, I mean, pretty simple. We have two lists, one showing the letters, unique letters, and then the next one showing the occurrences, basically. And then we can do this. So do letters, right? So this will print out both things, right? So we'll just do, actually that one has run, so we can just run this particular one, right? Run it, and then we get basically, here we go. So we have 7 unique. So I have 8 letters in my name. We have 7 unique, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and as expected, we have 2 A's, and then the rest are 1s, right? So this is like the bulk of the code, like the programming that needs to be done. Now it's going to be displaying our results, right, using a bar graph. So in Matplotlib, it's pretty simple, to do a bar graph. Basically, we know that our X is going to be the letters, the unique letters, and then Y is going to be the occurrences of each letter in the name. So just call, as you can see here, this PLT here, right? As we referred to it. So if you want to do a bar graph, you just do PLT dot bar, right? And then you put in your list, your data structure, you have your X and your Y. So your X in our case is letters in that list, and then count is the Y, right? So, and then we'll hit run on that. And then, yep, we got our bar graph here. So A occurs twice, and then got 6 more letters, they appear once. So yeah, this is a pretty simple example on how to use a bar graph. Now a couple more cases. So I have 3 other test cases for name, replacing the name. So I'm going to replace the name and then just restart it with 3 other names. So I have one more name here. So Shivani. And then let me restart and run it off. And then, yep. So we have SHVAN, and then I appears twice. I have another name, which kind of gives a better distribution, right? So let me just take a look here. So I have Mississippi, right? MISSISSIPPI, right? And then we start run all. Yeah, and then this will give you, so there's basically 4, right? In Mississippi, so there is 1 M, 4 I's, 4 S's, and 2 P's, right? So we get 1, 1, 4, 4, 2, right? And the last one for fun is going to be a famous basketball player. He was MVP of the NBA, Giannis Antetokounmpo. So Antetokounmpo is pretty long, you know. Then you can really see like the distribution versus the first 2. You know, we just had 2 occurrences of 1 letter, and the rest would be ones. But then this is showing more of like a different distribution, like more variety, really. And Giannis Antetokounmpo. So Antetokounmpo, right? Antetokounmpo, Antetokounmpo, right? And then hit restart and run all. Yeah. So basically we have here, we got 9 artists. So this also shows objects of 9 artists. So there's 9 unique letters that we have here. N, T, and O are duplicates. So there's 2 N's, 2 T's, right, and 3 O's. So this was a basic, you know, how to set up a bar graph in Python. Hope you liked this video. Any comments, suggestions would be very helpful. And if you did like this content, more Python, this Python graphing, simple graphing in Python, please leave a like, and any comments will be, and any other things would be really helpful. Thank you for watching, and see you soon.